Okay, so today we are going to see the lightning component, how to call the lightning component in VisualForce page. So let's say this is lightning component and this is VisualForce page. Now we want to call this component within the VisualForce page. Whenever we wanted to call the lightning component within the VisualForce page, that means right now, assume that this component, whatever this component is there, this is in its own space, lightning space. It is in a different box and VisualForce is in a different box. From this VisualForce box, you need to take out the lightning component and you have to place it inside the VisualForce page. You have to place it inside the VisualForce page. Right. So whenever we wanted to take out, that means if both are in different, their own zone, lightning is in different zone and then VisualForce is a different zone. And these both are definitely sitting in the Salesforce. These both are sitting in the Salesforce. Now, in order to call this component within the VisualForce page, directly we cannot call from the VisualForce page. Directly I cannot call, which is not possible. In case if you want to call, then what you have to do is you have to put this lightning component within the lightning application. This has to be placed inside the lightning application. So this is lightning application. Lightning application. So in the lightning application, 2 steps needs to be done. The first step is in the lightning application, you have to mention usually how we write it, Aura application, right? Aura application, like this we will write it. Aura application, then you need to specify the here keyword called extends. Here the keyword called extends equal to lightning colon out app. You need to mention the extends. You need to mention the extends. You need to mention the extends equal to lightning colon out app. So if you specify this, what will happen is that means it can be accessed by the out of the application, out of this box. Anybody can start calling this. Anybody start calling this application. And within the Aura application, you need to call Aura dependency. Because application is saying that extend equal to lightning colon out app. But within the application, what is the lightning component that you wanted to share? So that lightning component has to be specified in Aura colon dependency. Let's assume that I wanted to share the lightning component, which is L1. Okay, L underscore, let's say LC underscore 1 underscore parent. So this component I wanted to share it. So you need to specify this within the Aura application. Aura colon application. Aura colon application, you need to specify this. So the first one is extends equal to lightning out app. That means now this application is extended where it can come out of this his own box, right? So it can come out of it, and for which component we are trying to share it, that can be decided or that can be mentioned in the Aura colon dependency. That is the first step. That is the first step. Now this has to be there in application. If it is there in the application, that application only can be accessed inside this VisualForce page. If you specify this in the application, then only it can be accessed in the VisualForce page. Directly, you cannot access the Lightning component. Directly, you cannot access the Lightning component. It has to be specified in the application, extends equal to Lightning colon out app, and the Aura dependency resource equal to C colon, whatever the Lightning component is there. C colon LC underscore 1 underscore parent. So that is the component that I wanted to share. Now, within the VisualForce page, now the work is done from the Lightning side. Now, within the VisualForce page, starting of the VisualForce page, you need to specify apex colon include lightning. That means I'm going to start including the lightning here in the VisualForce page. I'm going to start include the lightning component or lightning application inside this VisualForce page. I'm not specifying any application or any component here. This is a tag apex colon include lightning is the tag, self-closed tag, which is mentioned starting of the VisualForce page, just to say that in this VisualForce page, we are going to include lightning. Then, and you need to create a space in the VisualForce page, because right now in the lightning component, let's assume that you have a first name here, last name here, email ID, then we have a submit button. This is the lightning component. So what we have to do is this component has to be this component okay, so this component has to be shown in the VisualForce page. That means I am bringing from the lightning component and showing that component in the VisualForce page. So for that, in order to show the lightning component in the VisualForce page, you need to create a space in the VisualForce page. You need to create a space. So the space will be within the div. That means you need to create a space here by mentioning the def. Now you can give here any name to this, ID equal to, let's say, 1. Okay. Now these two steps are done in VisualForce page. The next step is calling the lightning application. If you want to call a lightning application, you can call the lightning application only within the script. Only within the script. We have a script tag in VisualForce page. Okay. So inside this script tag, we have to call the lightning application. How you can call it? $lightning colon use. I'm going to use which component you have to specify here, application name. Application name. And then comma function application name function, and then you are going to specify application name function. Now here we are mentioning the application. right? Application name I'm mentioning. Let's assume that in my application, I have a 3 components. Aura dependency resource equal to 3 components are there. So right now it is Aura dependency only 1 component. Assume that I have a 3 components. Now out of 3 components, which one I wanted to call? Which one I wanted to call? So for that, we have to specify. For that, what we have to do is we have to specify that inside the function. We have a curly brace here, right? So curly braces, open up the curly braces, and then we need to say dollar. We have a dynamic component, right? So dynamic component, how we are doing it? A lightning dot create component. We have a dynamic component, creating the dynamic component in the lightning. So same tag, we have to use it. So you need to specify dollar lightning create component, and then within this specify the component name. Within this component name, and then in case if you want to pass a data, in case if you want to pass a data, or if there are any attribute that you wanted to pass it. So like this, you can pass, and which this component where it is displaying it. This component where I'm going to display it. I'm going to display in this space. The space is ID is 1. So the space of the div. So which is nothing but 1. And then function, close this, close. And also we have a closure of the lightning use. That's it. So these are the one. First step is extend lightning output, out app, Aura dependency, and then VisualForce page. You need to specify the Apex include lightning, and you need to create a space. After creating the space, inside the script, say lightning $lightning use, and you need to specify the application name here and the function. Within the function, you need to create a components, which is a dynamic component. How can we create? Like using the lightning create component. We have already seen how to use this lightning create a component. So lightning create a component name, and then if you have any attributes, that attributes, if you want to pass any data, you can pass it inside this object. And then where I'm going to display this lightning component, and finally function. If we use this, what will happen? We are able to pull whatever we have here, lightning component, this lightning component. If I try to execute the VisualForce page, I can see the VisualForce page within the div space. I can view the within the div space. Any questions here? Okay, so let's go ahead and see the one practical. So before practical, so lightning component is called in VisualForce page through the lightning application. Step 1, while creating the lightning application, check lightning out dependency app. That means you need to specify Aura colon application extends equal to lightning colon out app. Within this, you need to specify the Aura colon dependency resource equal to, let's say if you want a component name, you can specify the component name, or if you want to create a button, you can create it. We have seen how to create a button dynamically by using the lightning create component, the same thing which we have to use it. Step 2, create VisualForce. And then inside the VisualForce page, use the Apex colon include lightning and include the placeholder. So where you wanted to display the component, which is a div. And then script. Within the script, you need to specify the component. Like you need to add lightning use. So you need to add lightning.use, call the application, and within this application, call the $lightning.create component name, comma. If you want to pass any attributes, you can pass it in the object, and what is the space of that ID, and then finally function, and then we are closing it. Okay, so let me go ahead and create a component. So file, new. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the existing lightning component. So we have an existing lightning component, LCP, real time. So if I try to open this, so this is the one, child component. And if I add anything here, phone number, rating. So whatever this component is there, this component I am going to show you in the VisualForce page. Basically, this component we will be calling from the VisualForce page. So I'll be using this component. So let's go ahead and create a lightning application. Now, lightning app. So lightning app. Now here you need to specify lightning out dependency app. Lightning out dependency app should be checked. Click on submit. Once you click on submit, the extents is automatically added. The extents is automatically added. Now specify here Aura colon dependency and then resource equal to, you can specify the application name. The component name is CLC underscore P underscore real time. This is, I'm going to use in the, I'm going to display in the VisualForce page. That's it. This is my application. Now the next step is I'm going to create a VisualForce page. VisualForce page, lightning in VF. Lightning in VF. Click on OK. Apex page. The first thing which we need to specify is Apex colon include lightning. Include lightning. That's it. That means I'm going to include this inside the VisualForce page. Now simply I'll say div, the space is created here. I'm creating the space. For that space, I'm giving a name as a 1. Now next step is I need to write the script. I need to write the script. So script within the script, I'm going to say $lightning.use. $lightning.use. And let's say the application name C colon. Application name is lightning app. And then I have a function. I have a function. Now within this function, I'll say $lightning colon lightning dot create component. We have seen this create components, right? So, but in the VisualForce page, we can use only lightning dot create component. Now here I need to specify the component name, and then we can specify the object, and the space is 1. And finally, I have a function. Now the component name is C colon LC underscore real time. Now, right now, I do not need any object or attributes that needs to be passed. So I'm just keeping it as an empty. Right, that's it. Now let me click on preview. Now I'm into the Lightning VF page. So in VF page, I can see the Lightning component. In VF page, I can see the Lightning component. So let's say Nagamani, phone number, and the rating is hot. Click on save. But right now, this work is happening in the component, Lightning component. But where I can see on the VisualForce page. I can see on the VisualForce page. Now, similarly, if I wanted to add another dependency here, you can add another dependency. Let's say I have another dependency. Let's take, what is this, Lightning dynamic component. Okay, this is my below one is dynamic component. Now I'll call this component also copy, and I'm calling it from the Aura dependency. I'm calling the two components. This is the first component. This is the second component. Now for the second component, I'm going to create another space. Let's say for that, I'm giving it as a 2. So what I'll do is I'll add same steps, $lightning use, lightning gap, but here I need to use the new one, which is called as a LC underscore dynamic underscore component. Space is a 2. Now my VisualForce page is refreshing it. Now this is the details. So if I add any name here, the name will be displayed. So Sri Lakshmi, in the phone number, click on save, and below I have a dynamic component. So click on this create component, the new button is displaying it. Right, so all the functionalities are working fine. All the functionalities are working fine. But we are in actually the VF page. It is actually in the VF page. So what is happening here is, this is a VF page. Within this VF page, we are calling the Lightning application. We are calling the Lightning application. And this inside this application, I have two components. One component, and this is second component. I have two components. I have two components. But where is the output is displayed? Output is displayed outside on the VF page. On the VF page. This is component 1 and the component 2. So output will be displayed here in the VF page. Output is displayed in the VF page. So that's what is happening here. Now let's suppose I wanted to use the VisualForce page tags as well as the Lightning component. Now it is only displaying the Lightning component. Let's assume that I wanted to build my own VisualForce page. Can I build it in the same one? Yes, you can build it. So let's say that I wanted to build my own VisualForce page here. So I'll say Apex colon form. Within this form, what I'll do is I'll create a Apex page block. Inside this, let's say title equal to patient details. And then within this, I'll say Apex colon page block section. And within this, I have a section items, Apex colon page block section items. Now like this, I'm going to put patient detail name, ID, 3 details I need it. Okay, so I'll say here Apex colon output label, and let's say value equal to enter patient name ID, enter patient ID, Apex colon input text, Apex colon input text. Now here patient name, and this is a patient phone number. Perfect. So I have a 3 details. Now finally, after this, I'm going to add a button, Apex colon command button. Inside this command button, let's say value equal to submit. This is the VisualForce page. This is a VisualForce page. Now, what I'll do is, let me save this. Now let's refresh. Now here I have a VisualForce page. On top, this is a VisualForce page. And then from here, this is one lightning component. This is another lightning component. But where I'm seeing the lightning components, I'm seeing the lightning component in the VisualForce page. So like this, you can call multiple things. You can call multiple components in the VisualForce page based on the requirement. Any questions? Okay, so homework. So implement the lightning component to call a child component method from the parent and pass the variable to the child component. How can you implement this? You are passing the attribute details from the parent component to child.
Lightning interface.
Lightning interface, but what you will use it? In
Action over.
Action override, Aura colon method. By using Aura colon method, you have to implement this. And then call that component inside the VisualForce page. Call the parent component from the VisualForce page. So that's all. So today is the last. That's all for Lightning Aura. So in this component library, we have a different tabs here. Okay. So basically in this first tab, you can see component references here. For example, if you are looking for Aura, go for Aura, and anything with the lightning colon, like a lightning colon button, button icon, card, right? So any data table, anything which you are looking for it, So go and search for it, input address. If you click on there, what will happen is it will give 3 tabs. In this first one, it is going to give you the example, how can you implement the input, and it is going to give you the what are the attributes that are available inside this, that will be there in the specification. What are the attributes are available inside this particular lightning tag, and it will give more documentation. How can you implement a documentation? So this is available. Now the next one is a developer guide. This is more into, initially you might not be using this. Like if you wanted to debug a lightning web component, how can you do it? So they have given certain steps here. You can follow this, but initially you might not be using all this. So, but if you go through, if you want to go through this, you can go through this. This is especially for the lightning web component. So that anyway, we will be discussing. This is LWS console. So this is a different one, LWS console. Basically, if you wanted to write any logic and test it, so what you can do is you can test it. So this I can show you in the LWC class. This is also in the LWC class, we will show. And next one is a locker console. Right, so locker console also we will be discussing in the LWC. Now, that's all.